Hey, so I thought I'd record while I'm driving so I can put up, I don't know how well it will work. What's it saying? Oh damn. There we go. So I thought I'd record while I'm driving and so I can put something up. I need 1,000 subscribers before I can go live off a phone. And so that's where I need your help to do that. But as far as being about today in the UK, everything, it's odd because there's so many people that have been in this position, in this fearful position. They've been pushed there, they've been pummeled there, they've been put there, and so now all of a sudden there's this squeeze and release is what is happening, and this release is causing many people to just be a bit relieved, other people to be just very skeptical, as I am, because I know it's a narcissistic game, the squeeze and release game, and so they're doing this squeeze and release, and so there's another section of the community that is so frightened, and they don't know how to get out of that fearful position. Nothing seems to have changed. The volcanoes haven't erupted here. There's looking around, the sun's out. There's no crisis. Everybody's fine. But at the same time, in the mind, there's this fear virus that is. So it's cognitive dissonance at its best. So there are a few people, not many, kicking off in shops and not transmuting that energy correctly as they should. And so this is it's just such a dark thing to do, this spell work, this narcissistic game work. But what I wanted to talk about mainly was the police. Now, listen, I love a soldier. I love the heart of a soldier, a police officer. But the hearts of the police officers here, and I'm not talking about the all, because I've met some fabulous people within that system. But the system itself, and therefore many of the, there goes another siren going by, many of the police within that system there's been a change over this last 18 months in particular. And so this release has said, so that people can be outside. So I've seen, and a couple of other people have seen, children in groups doing nothing wrong, but doing what children should do, playing. And the police, in groups of like 10, 15, are coming up to them, hands on the cuffs, and, being very intimidating and pushy, deliberately pushy, trying to get these kids to, I don't know, answer back, or I don't know what they want from them, and the kids don't know what they want from them. And it's very dark, because they're deliberately trying to push people into arrest. They're being antagonistic. And I think it's going to be very hard here in the UK for people to, for people to get used to the fact and get unindoctrinated about that system, because it's been tied to us emotionally. We have emotional ties for brave hearts. We have emotional ties for people who will see you crash and be able to clean it up and treat your loved one with respect. We've got respect for, police officers running in to protect somebody who's getting beaten up, and the same with soldiers. But that's part of the thing. We actually protect the system because of these emotional ties. And we're not actually doing any favors to the police officers that are the good police officers, that are the ones that have the right idea, the right intent. And so I watched, and it came on, how YouTube autoplays, if you've got it in the background. I watched a video about a police officer from New Mexico yesterday. And to be honest, it broke my heart for a bit. I had to really transmute the energies after him, because he's got his chest cam on, and he's got his dash cam on. and he pulls over this Chevy. It had very dark tinted windows, and the I don't know how the Americans work it, but the license wasn't showing in the window, or the plates. I can't remember what it said. And you see this officer, and obviously, you know, seemingly from what I can pick up on, one of the good ones. And he goes up to this car, and he's asking so politely, you know, for paperwork. And he's asking so politely that the guy comes to his car just so they can get it sorted out. And I think he starts to realise that there's something up. And he asks really politely. And then he asks if there's any weapons. And you can't hear what the guy says, but he obviously says there's something. So he said, okay, sir, is it okay if I just take that for a moment for my safety, for everyone's safety, just to keep everyone safe? Being super nice. Trying to keep the situation de-escalated. And of course, eventually, after a lot of persuasion, this guy gets out of the other side of the Chevy, and he's a lot taller than this officer. And so the officer, being on his own on the other side of the Chevy, is at a perfect point for this much taller guy to pummel him with bullets. It sounded like about 6 to 8 bullets. And then went round and shot him in the head, dead. And you see the officer not even having time to think, and the way that the way that it was, you know, that one being taller and the Chevy being in between, he had no way of protecting himself. And so all you hear is him saying, "Oh shit," and then it blurs it out when he goes to grab, you know, crouch down. And I just think these systems are hurting people. He was a father of 4, 3 born and 1 on the way. These systems are hurting people. They hurt the people that have to have encounters with officers who are clearly abusive, narcissistic, and love being in a power role. And then the officers that do join, just like the soldiers that do join for a good heart, for a brave heart, for good reasons, they pay the price too. On all sides, we are paying the price because of how these systems are set up, because of what is encouraged to further their agendas, to further their plans, what's okay for them. They're squeezing the people, whether that's the people in uniform that are of good heart, or whether that's the people on the ground, just wanting to live, be free, live in their abundance, in their real birthrights. I'm home. So it's just something to contemplate. And in the UK, I really want to speak to parents to say, if your kids are playing out, as they should be able to do, if your kids are playing out, then there needs to be some talking as to what's changed, in that, you know, do not answer back. Don't try and defend yourself, because you know you're doing nothing wrong, you're just playing football. But don't try, just say yes officer, no officer, or go home officer. Because it's not for the kids to make a stand for the mess that we've allowed to be created. It's not for the kids to be put in that position. So I do think parents need to think long and hard about this. Because I've seen it happening today and yesterday, and I just thought, I can feel psychically, I can feel a story coming of one of the not so nice officers in the job for the wrong reasons, taking a lend over a child. We failed, and we need to fix this. And it's a difficult fix. This virus of the systems that have been built, the lies that have been told, are strong. They've had a lot of time but they're only as strong as they are because we continue to want to rose tint glasses, looking out of that kind of lens perspective. We want to continue to hang on to certain parts of the indoctrination because it makes us feel safe. That's what was meant to make us feel safe, you know, uniforms and laws, and Well, they've been changing the laws very quietly and a lot quickly. And I feel like we're going to start to see the results of that also, of these laws that have changed, of these new rights that officers have got, and the lack of rights that people have got. And it's time. And the main thing we can do right now today is really de-root, really cut those cords that connect us in any way, shape or form emotionally to the system. Recognize the separation, that if you have family or friends that are within these systems that have good hearts, you know, the officers that are great, the social workers that are great, if you have them, then that is a separate issue. Separate it emotionally in your mind so that we can let go of these systems. So anyway,